Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Telecom Reseller. And today I'm with Haydn and Jason Sauls of BroadSource. Haydn and Jason, thank you for joining me today.
Morning, Doug. Hi, how are you?
How are you, Doug?
Well, thank you for joining me. This is very interesting. We recently ran a story about your company getting some interesting recognition for export product for technology, Advanced Technology Export Award. We're going to be diving into that in just a second. But first of all, what is BroadSource?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So BroadSource is an Australian-based software development company that specializes in unified communications products, and our customers are mostly overseas. We're a net exporter of our intellectual property, and we spend our time helping global service providers improve the way they build, operate, and innovate on their unified communications platforms.
And the platform you've developed is called EMU?
Yeah, that's right. EMU's sort of been in market now for about 7 or 8 years, and many service provider customers of ours use it to help them manage their large subscriber bases, particularly in unified communications, a whole lot better. So in the areas of provisioning and auditing and mass migrations. And it actually stands for, it's actually an acronym. Apart from being an Australian flightless, very creative bird, it's actually an acronym which stands for Extraction, Manipulation and Update. And it helps all the key marquee brands of telcos around the world do a better job of scaling their unified communications platforms.
And then on that platform, you have some apps, and that one of those apps is, in fact, the one that won this recognition.
Yeah, that's right. I think our job is not just enough to help service providers run themselves better, but also to help them differentiate their product offering in the industry. And SecureCall for us represents an extension of EMU into the area of secure payments by phone in unified communications environments. And yeah, we're lucky enough to have been awarded by the Victorian government's export branch called Global Vic, and they identified that piece of intellectual property as being unique and of global significance and of local importance. And yeah, we took home the chockies last week and keen to talk to you about it.
And you know, if for readers who may not be aware of the Global Victoria Award, this is sort of a big deal. You guys were up against a lot of competition, and not just within the telecom field, but it sounds like within a sort of wide range of advanced technologies.
Yeah, that's right, Doug. It's Jason here. Hi. The awards cover, basically the Australian government recognising smart tech, smart ideas, getting traction overseas. And in the technology award that we were successful in, it covered a range of tech across cyber, other security type platforms, but technology innovation. And so it was fantastic to get the recognition amongst quite an esteemed group of applicants.
Well, let's take a closer look at that SecureCall app. First of all, why does someone need the SecureCall app? What type of company needs it, and why do they need it?
So, Doug, what we identified some time back is that the card schemes in Visa and Mastercard and Amex and the whole community there, the payment card industry, have developed a range of global standards to ensure that merchants protect the interests of the providers and the consumers themselves. And that falls under the umbrella of a global standard called PCI-DSS. And it's really about how should businesses manage customer data from a credit card perspective. And we've seen that there's been quite an expansion in the contact center space over the recent years, where they've needed to become what's called PCI-DSS compliant. That is, call centers need to look after customer data. The innovation that we decided to focus on about 12 months ago was to look at every other phone that is being used in business and try and understand how do we engineer a solution that allows large business, large franchised operations that have significant B2C operations, how do they secure phone calls that are not necessarily in the confounds or the structure of a contact center environment. And SecureCall really is the technology required to secure customer card payments over the phone in a non-structured mass market approach that is, in our world, unified communications.
So it sounds like you're targeting the telcos.
Yeah.
The telco subscribers, Doug. So assisting our clients to assist their subscribers.
So let me get this straight. In other words, what this allows a telco to do is come to a client and say, we have this service, and would it be something that is it a sort of value-added thing for them? Would it allow them to become more sticky with their clients? How does all this work?
Yeah, that's right. So the way the service provider would offer it is as an add-on to an existing UCaaS subscription. So they may be uplifting features like analytics or call recording to a service, and this is a service extension to allow them to take secure payments by phone. And if you think of it, our clients, the CSPs around the world, are offering a business service, and part of doing business is taking payments. And so I think that it's a reasonable expectation for a subscriber to expect that the service provider is providing a business-ready service, which includes being able to securely take payments over the phone.
So in other words, this isn't just narrowly targeting the card companies themselves, but it targets actually people basically doing business of some kind, maybe running a contact center and so on.
Yeah, for us, we think the great opportunity for service providers is to talk to their customers, being large enterprises, business that run large franchised operations that have significant consumer contact, and think about all the phones and the unified communication services that exist in retail points of sale, and think about all the accounts receivables teams in every single business in the United States that receive customer payments by phone, and they're not necessarily in a call center space. They're actually in an unstructured, just traditional office telephony, unified communications environment, and that business as a whole now needs to comply to this standard called PCI-DSS. And we'd like the service providers to add this capability to their UCaaS bundle and allow their business to remain PCI-DSS compliant. For when someone rings in to a business to make a deposit, to put something aside, to close out the account, to book a date, to make a reservation, all of these sorts of services that are happening, offered by businesses to consumers, now needs to be done in a PCI-DSS compliant way. And it's just been uneconomical to bring a call center solution to a mass market deployment model of unified communications. And so really our innovation that we were recognized for was about how do you rescale this technology to mass market? How do you deliver it at a disruptive price point that's capable of being bundled along with a unified communications or a UCaaS sort of bundled price point? And so a lot of work went into being able to achieve that, and I guess that's the reason for the recognition is the importance of being able to technically achieve this on a global scale in a mass market context.
You know, I noticed some of the literature that you are distributing makes the point that humans are the weakest link in a business security posture. What do you guys mean by that?
When a transaction occurs, I guess it's an opportunity for a human it's human nature, I guess, to be able to take advantage of the situation. And so at any point where you expose your private information to another person, there's a risk that it would be recorded and misused. And so our technology doesn't expose the merchant, the subscriber in this case, to the confidential information of the purchaser. So rather than a scenario that may exist today in retail where somebody says, if you've got your credit card handy, just tell me what your number is, and then they could record that information. With our technology, the merchant, that retail assistant that is not exposed to the card holder information at all, that information is keyed into the telephone of the caller, of the purchaser, and the merchant who's taking that payment, they see the progress of the transaction. So they have some feedback to provide feedback to the caller about success of the payment or failure, but they're not exposed to the credit card information at all. And that secures the caller, the purchaser's information. They keep it in their hands, not exposing it to another person.
You know, I also noticed that you guys pay close attention to the idea, as you were just mentioning before, that a lot of transactions which are sort of like being in a call center are not really done in a call center or contact center environment. At least the company doing it doesn't recognize the activity as a contact center.
Yeah, so we have many examples, I guess, where at a point of sale, if the business has decided, for example, that they don't have a secure solution to that on the spot at the point of sale, that they may attempt to transfer a call to a call center or to a self-service platform. But in our experience with our client base, we've observed the equivalent of shopping cart abandonment in terms of transferring a sale or transferring a debt recovery. That process of transferring to a call center or to a self-service platform, 10 to 20%, depending on the scenario, of abandonment of making the payment. So many point-of-sale people will choose to take the payment at that point, which actually puts them in breach of PCI-DSS. But it's critical to the business to collect the money, whether it's a sale or debt recovery. So if they've got somebody and they've got their credit card handy, then they'll take the payment then and there and not risk losing the payment by transferring it off to another resource. So our technology allows them to do that securely and compliantly on the spot and make sure that they collect the cash, convert the payment, and not expose the purchaser and not expose the business.
You know, this is an interesting point of awareness for a lot of our listeners. What I think I'm just hearing is that in the course of doing business, collecting money, helping a customer, and then they buy an upgrade, whatever, lots of little transactions, you're right, maybe, and the use of, meanwhile, the platform being used as UCaaS or SecureCall, if they're just doing this without some of this security, they're possibly breaching PCI and DSS obligations.
Yeah, that's correct. I think we're seeing a significant increase in a business's risk profile just in that concept, but more importantly in the business's costs. You know, every year a business is obligated to take out cyber security insurance, and as they answer that questionnaire, they're having to tick boxes that says, yes, we do take credit card details into our business, and at the moment it's a manual process to ensure people comply. And so all of a sudden, the policy doubles in price and is never going to go down. And that plus the business itself may well operate a call center, and they may well be PCI-DSS compliant within their contact center, but the obligation spans the entire enterprise, and the business is audited either quarterly or annually, depending on the number of transactions that flow through their business, and those costs are also skyrocketing. So the cost of insurance and the cost of auditing for compliance is out of control. And our proposition to service providers is that we'd love them to offer this as a value-add uplift to a UCaaS subscription for a few bucks a month. And the proposition to their customers, the businesses, are that they'll be able to significantly reduce their business exposure, technically, and they'll be able to reduce their annual insurance premiums by answering a different set of questions in their insurance premium renewals, and also answer a different set of questions around their PCI-DSS audits that happen every quarter or every year. So really the business case is compelling for a business that has high number of people that are connected to the public, that are taking ad hoc payments over the phone, and to really drive that last remaining weakness in their security posture out through a simple add-on to a unified communication service.
So, as you know, a lot of workers are now working out of their homes, and a huge concern increasingly is there's network security issues, there's edge security issues, but it occurs to me this must also be an issue that simply having UCaaS, and the UCaaS is now being applied at literally hundreds or thousands of sites across the country wherever the workforce is, and then as you put it, workers are simply literally doing ad hoc transactions.
Yeah, again, in our experience, Doug, and particularly after COVID and the distribution of, the place of work has taken an entirely new meaning. Our technology allows you to secure a workplace per phone line, per call, and for the part of the call that requires the, securing that part of the call. So our tech allows us to scale right down to a part of a phone call, which is the key difference. Solutions that are sort of targeted on, concentrated workforces are really, those solutions in the past have been about securing all phone calls all the time, no matter the content, whether a payment transaction is in process or not. Our technology allows you to go to the part of an individual phone call on an individual phone line that requires protection for the purchaser and for the merchant. And so, yes, it could be used in a work from home contact center environment, but importantly, this covers a gap in the market where subscribers need to protect parts of phone calls on discrete phone lines. So it gives massive coverage and a new opportunity for service providers worldwide to offer this to merchants that today can often knowingly be at risk.
For our enterprise listeners who may want to use this type of service, are you able to match them up with the CSP that is actually offering this?
Yeah, so from our work with global service providers, we find that there's two elements that are required. Obviously, the merchant, the enterprise listeners, they will probably already have an e-commerce website. They'll have a banking relationship. This particular service inherits exactly that same architecture, so we look like and act like the same as their existing e-commerce website on the banking side of things to perform the financial transaction on their behalf. And on the telco side, we're seeing that enterprises have made a significant shift to cloud phones, in effect, already, and there's a significant penetration of unified communications into office telephony environments, into local government and enterprise environments, and into retail points of sale. You can walk into any large franchised outlet and you'll find that there's probably half a dozen unified comms, UCaaS endpoints that are run by a telco, a CSP. And so those endpoints are intelligent endpoints, being unified communications endpoints, and we're able to, using our technology, control those endpoints to secure the call. So they're only really the two dependencies that we have, and most of those are in situ and in place already.
So, as we wind up our podcast today, I'm thinking about all sorts of applications which are sort of familiar to a lot of our listeners. The doctor, the dentist, the accountant, the attorney, maybe certain types of retail hospitality, food and beverage, and so on. It seems to me that there are many types of many occasions where we, turn to a professional service, either as a customer or maybe we're running one of those or one of our customers are, and we've probably done this. We've probably exchanged credit card information outside of the obligations which we said we would make, to your point, money in hand. It sounds like there's a lot of real-world applications for this application.
Yeah, that's right, Doug. So we've seen massive interest from service providers to help customers like medical clinics and chains who who need to simplify their business. They need to be more compliant. They need to follow procedures. And so you can imagine a simple uplift to an offering from a service provider into a medical clinic to allow, the receptionists who are not in a call center, but who today probably take dozens of credit card payments over the phone from patients who are going through a sort of a telehealth consult process. And you see, we have an example where our team last week themselves have booked our Christmas party at a venue out in the countryside, and they request $1,000 deposit to get our Christmas lunch organised, and they requested from our marketing department our company credit card by phone. Else, the only other option they had was to jump in the car and drive out to the countryside and tap or swipe their card, and that's just not feasible. And telecommunication service providers should be able to have capabilities to secure the business phone calls that are running across their business networks. So countless opportunities and numerous scenarios that we think that business can really make a difference in being more compliant, less risk for a simple few dollars as a part of their unified communication subscription.
Well, this has been a really interesting podcast today. It sounds like there's a lot of direct application, a lot of interesting opportunities for the CSPs, and something for a lot of the partners and enterprises to check out. Where can we learn more about BroadSource?
So BroadSource is obviously got a website. It's broadsource.com.au, and there's some dedicated pages to the SecureCall application itself that runs on our EMU platform. But equally, you'll see us in terms of social media and the events that we're attending through the United States and Canada and Europe at the moment. And so you'll be probably seeing someone from BroadSource at one of the upcoming events that the communications community holds as well. So,
what events are you going to be that are coming up? Will we see you at?
So the CCA are holding their North American event along with the Cavell team next week. So we'll be part of the crew that are presenting and participating along with the Cloud Communications Alliance. I think that's the most imminent and next one around the corner for us.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you in Chicago. But for now, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks for your time, Doug.